Record.
Just wait 1
Are we
second,
ready?
Brian. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say we're live. Wait 5 seconds, and then you can go.
Okay.
All right, we're live.
I'd like to call the meeting of the Lakeville Historical Commission to order and read the announcement. In accordance with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open space meeting law, CL 30A and 20, related to the 2020 novel coronavirus emergency, the February 27th, 2021 public meeting of the Historical Commission shall be physically closed to the public to avoid group congregation. However, to view the meeting in progress, please go to Facebook.com Lakeville LakeCAM, and you do not need a Facebook account to view the meeting. This meeting will be recorded and available to the viewing at a later date at http://LakeCam TV. And I should say, is anyone else recording?
No.
Okay, so I officially call the meeting to order.
So the first agenda is Secretary's report, and we have 3 copies. We have the minutes from January 20th, which were transcribed by someone in the town office pool. And so that's the first minutes we need to look at. That's 3 pages.
Oh, I have a few corrections for that. It's Delia Murphy, not Delilah.
Okay.
All the way through.
We will take care
Oh,
of that.
no.
Okay, is it all the way through the whole thing?
Yes, everywhere it should say Delia, it says Delilah.
Okay, so we want to correct that. Anything else, Joan?
On the 31 Rhode Island Road demolition request,
That's 13.
it says it's the White House. It is set back on the hill. It's right on the street.
Isn't that the Erickson's house?
No.
Yes,
No, it isn't.
it is. But that's right on the corner. That's not set back on the hill.
That is the White House. It's on the opposite corner.
Oh,
That's the
that's the
house.
one they want to demolish?
No, yeah, that was what the one was. There was an inquiry about it.
Oh,
It's the White House across the street from the Erickson house, or the old toll house.
whole house.
Oh, the white one across the street from it.
Oh,
So that one's okay.
Okay.
Okay, so Brian, we have multiple corrections on Delia's name. So
Okay, so we need to,
I have a question
go ahead.
about the minutes.
We're just doing January 20th right now.
Oh, okay, was that,
Just these are the town generated ones.
oh, okay.
I think you can move forward, Brian.
Okay, can we approve the minutes as amended?
Yes, I'll do the poll. Okay, Brian Reynolds,
Aye.
Joan Morton,
Aye.
Jillian Murphy,
Aye.
Jerry Taylor,
Aye.
and Nancy LaFave, aye. So the motion passes to approve the minutes as corrected. The next one is the January 26 minutes, when we met at the historic library, the Carnegie Building, which was Something's Brewing now. So that's the first meeting was at the Historic Public Library. So Jerry had some corrections. One is in the interior. If you go to the middle of the page, the interior, you go down 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs.
Michael.
And you find that it replaced, it should not have a D on the end of it. And then in the another paragraph below that, there should be an apostrophe with the, where it says the left room's back access door has been removed and is downstairs. So those were the two things that we found, she found in that minutes that need to be corrected. I don't know if anybody found anything else. The print's really small. I'm sorry, I was trying to keep it on one page.
Is this the one?
This is the historic library.
Okay, though the Windsor chairs that are down in the bottom of the library, the historic library, do they match the chairs that are in the upstairs of the townhouse?
Yes, they were purchased for the upstairs for the study areas on both sides of the Ingle Nook. And so 4 of them were left in the building for use downstairs with 2 of the tables are newer than the chairs. The Friends had purchased them at one point so that there would be smaller seating for more people could work in the library itself. So those are still downstairs. And if you look at the end of that, basically, if they're going to update the seating or tables up down there, we want to know about it first before they become surplus, because they are marked chairs. So they're something that we really want to hold on to for the whole, because we have the rest of the set in storage right now.
Okay, is that what's upstairs in the historic townhouse? Are those
Yes.
the same
The
chairs?
rest of them are upstairs at the townhouse,
Okay,
along with the other matching oak library table, which is in the main level of the historic townhouse. There's one of those tables downstairs in the archives area of the basement of the historic library.
if we could
We felt
keep
that
that
should
all
stay in the
together.
building too.
If we could keep that all together, it would be nice, I think.
Okay, Brian, I think there's only 2 corrections for those minutes.
Okay. Someone make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
So
Make a
moved.
motion to
As
accept the
corrected.
minutes as amended.
Okay.
You need a
Second,
Aye,
Jerry
Okay,
Taylor seconds it. Roll call vote,
okay.
Brian,
okay. Aye,
Joan Morton,
Aye.
Delia,
Aye.
Jerry Taylor,
aye.
Nancy LaFave. Those minutes are approved. The next ones are the January 26th, and we went over to the townhouse. Now, Jerry, you couldn't stay for the meeting, so that's why you're not listed.
Right.
But
Right.
did anybody see anything that needs to be fixed on those minutes?
For the exterior lights, where it says the green gooseneck light needs.
Needs, okay, an S on the word needs.
Right. And since I wasn't there, I
Yeah.
would like to know.
I move that we accept the corrected minutes.
This is about that before we accept it,
You weren't there.
okay.
but can I,
You could ask a question, yeah.
Jose?
Yeah, that's something I want to bring up under the townhouse, okay? Okay, we didn't make a
Vote
decision
on
on that.
Right?
That was,
You
I beg your pardon?
You didn't vote on it,
No.
yes or no?
No, We
Okay,
didn't vote.
okay.
Okay, so
Okay. Motion to accept the minutes as amended.
I moved, I need a second. It has to be
I
someone who was
second.
present at the meeting. Okay, roll call vote. Brian Reynolds,
Aye.
Joan Morton,
Aye.
Sheila Murphy,
Aye.
Jerry Taylor,
Aye.
Nancy LaFave, aye. So those motions, minutes will be approved, corrected. And sent to the town selectman's office. So the next thing is the
Okay.
treasurer's.
Yep, treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report. Okay. The townhouse account has $562.75, same as last time. The $2,350 is still encumbered for the chimney repair at the historic townhouse. And the historical commission remains at $500. And we need to pretty soon decide, so we don't wait until the 30th of June, what we're going to spend that money on. So
Good idea.
think what we could spend it on. Any suggestions?
I move we accept the treasurer's report as presented.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Okay, go ahead.
You have Brian Reynolds,
All right,
Joan Morton,
Aye.
Jillian Murphy,
Aye.
Jerry Taylor,
Aye.
Nancy LaFave, aye. The next item is correspondence.
okay,
Okay, we've had some, we have no mail tonight from the town office building, but we did have correspondence between members of the commission about the Lakeville Haunted House and also about the Lakeville Hospital again, from the planning board representative and also from the Rhino group, which is the development group. I'll talk about those under each of those at the end. One is at the Lakeville Hospital at the end, and the townhouse. Or the Ted Williams Camp haunted house. I'll talk about those at the end of the list.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. New business?
Historic townhouse update.
Yep,
Okay, I've talked to Ted Del Rocco a couple of times and met with him, and he is, I guess, talking to people on behalf of the building and the selectmen commit, the two committees, about some of the things that were on our list, a to-do list. And so Ted has had the town electrician come in, and they've talked about the addition of the outlets under the windows and also the light at the peak of the roof and the gooseneck light. And so what I can tell you, we haven't received any paperwork on this yet, but what I can tell you is that the light at the top of the peak of the roof, which is broken and doesn't work, will be coming down. However, because of public safety in that area and the ability to light the front area of the building, they would like to put a flush mount LED light
LED, yeah.
peak, and it won't be as noticeable, but it will also provide public safety with the light. The gooseneck light might have to be replaced with a reproduction because there may be something wrong with the wiring in it, when they won't know that until they take it down. So that's the thing on the electrician. And then the other issues that we had, the upstairs window, which needs to be replaced in kind because it's on the National Historic Register. And also look at the second window, the furthest one, the one closest to Bedford Street, to see if that second floor window also needs to be replaced. So some of the other things have already been done on the building, but the issue with that far right door, the one that's not ramp access, the hinge areas and all of that was in the minutes are all things that the town carpenter will be looking at too. So they're moving forward on all those issues, even the thing about holding the door open instead of a brick, using a chain, etc. So that's where we are with that. We're just waiting to find out what's going to happen, and we probably will hear from the building commissioner's office.
It just entered my mind that when I was upstairs, the lights up there did not work. So I wonder if that is all wired in with the outside light, and if
could
they're
be-
gonna change that wiring.
It
can
could
they
be a,
change all the wiring.
it could be an issue with the, we have the window candles upstairs and everything.
Yeah.
It may be that, that the bulb is unscrewed and hasn't been screwed tightened in or anything like that. So
Oh,
I'll
I
check
think
that to
you're
see if
right.
we need new bulbs upstairs.
Yeah.
I know they
No,
used to work.
Yeah, they did work before. I mean, most of the time that we go there, it's daylight, so we don't turn the lights on. So it's one of those just, things. So I'll check it, Jerry. And
Okay.
also the whole issue with new keys for the locks and all that, that's all in the part of the request issues that we need taken care of before we have a problem with somebody breaking a key off in the lock and then not being able to egress the buildings,
Right.
that's it. So there's a whole list of things which I sent as an email from that other set of minutes that,
Yeah.
okay, so that's the townhouse
Okay.
update. Unless somebody has something else. Did you find out about the electric bill from the voting thing, Jerry?
Yes, it was taken off of our account and put on a town account for the voting that would be under the use of the building for the voting. So, but the thing is, this month in this report, I didn't get, the what it usually is, around
Statement.
$10, $10 to $15. Maybe in December it's a little more because of the candle lights. But so I will talk to Todd Hassett about that. And see.
So we didn't get the current electric bill.
Right, they didn't take it out, so I hope it's not coming out of the town.
I don't think so. I think they're going to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Brian, the next thing we have is a historic Lakeville Public Library.
Right.
So far, nothing further has happened since we met and made the list and everything. So at this point, I think they're waiting for the lease to run out or something before any action's taken.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's sort of just mute.
Okay. You had some other issues from the minutes that you wanted to cover.
Right. Well, the 175th anniversary of 2028, there's nothing going on right now with that. But on the Lakeville Hospital, we had an inquiry from the Rhino Development Group about the history, about demolition and so on. And so last month, a letter was sent to them explaining the history of why when National Development owned it and what happened during the whole process that we went through. And then the planning board, I guess, is involved too as part of that. And so we've had correspondence with them. One of the things that I did mention was the fact that the Historical Commission was promised and the Historical Society were promised certain objects from the Lakeville Hospital. And because of the way the closing went and the person that you were in contact with suddenly was reassigned and everything just stopped, other than the fact that the Highway Department did go and removed the Mayflower, which is a ceramic face piece of the Mayflower ship, and it's in a curve, half of a circle. And that was on one of the buildings, and it came to the commission, and we have it at the library now, and it's going to be placed outside in the curved walled garden. But none of the other things like the Pie Man off of the children's ward and anything else ever came. Nothing further happened with anything. The museum never got the iron lung or any other materials from them. So Mr. O'Leary, I believe it is John O'Leary from the Rhino Development Group, wanted to know if there was anything that we wanted. So we've just gone through a conversation back and forth about what we anticipated receiving and didn't receive and what we did receive, and we're just waiting to see. However, the planning board person said that they would not bear the cost of removal of anything from the buildings. So
I have a question.
we'd
if
have to
that
include
iron-
other people.
Can you hear me, Nancy?
I beg your pardon?
Can you hear me, Nancy?
Yes, I can.
That iron lung at the Lakeville Hospital, if it's still there, where would we put it? Because it's big.
Well, it wouldn't be us, it would be the Historical Society.
Okay.
For the
Okay, but I
museum.
don't know if at the museum, but I don't know if that's even a viable thing for them to accept at this point. You know, they already, they built the second carriage shed and that's really quite full. So, but I mean,
Yeah,
it was
there is
just,
definitely a storage issue or
So-
exhibit issue.
so you had some, there were other items too, I believe, that were promised to the Historical Society for the museum, and those never showed up either, right?
No, nothing ever showed up.
So this is one of the things that I'm not sure that, Brian, if you can get me a list of stuff, I can send it to them and say, you know, if these things are still available or if they're in any condition because of the issues with the whole hospital building being closed up and everything and water damage.
Yeah, I'll try and work on that. Yes.
Yeah, so that we could just say, if, by the way, if you find any of this stuff, you know, we'd be interested in accepting it on behalf of the town for the history of the building. So that's it on that's it on the Lakeville Hospital.
I had spoken to, Annette Delano, and she had asked me about whether the school, Assawamsett School, would like the Pie Man and the other nursery rhyme characters that are on the children's ward. And so I had asked Laurie Hunter, who was principal at the time, and she said yes. And we thought that we would put it on the side of the gym. It's just a blank brick wall. But a lot has happened. A lot has happened since then. I've retired, she's gone, you know, so I don't know whether they would still want it or not, but
I would think an excellent place would be at the Ted Williams camp around the gazebo area.
oh,
There's a lot of sites in town that, you know, that we have potential for being able to use this because they are exterior pieces. But as I recall, it was a very difficult removal for the piece that we
Yes.
received. It was very heavy. I think most of the
It's
people that did
it's
the work
cemented in,
actual
too.
removal have retired by now. I'm not even sure which gentlemen on the highway department were involved. And so I'm not sure if it's something that's actually going to be, if you can take it off without breakage on the smaller pieces.
yeah.
I don't know. I've never done that kind of
It-
deconstruction.
It
before.
has to be investigated, I'd say. Who
And
we
we
can
need
get
somebody
to
to
do
be
it.
able to do it for us.
I can do it.
You can chip away at the cement.
No, I mean, I can go check and see what the condition is and what would entail with the measurements.
Okay, you have to get permission to go into the property.
Yeah.
That's the only
Yes.
thing. Yeah, yeah. So I can give you the contact person that I have, Delia. I'll email it to you, and then if you'd like to be able to do that investigation for us,
Sure.
okay.
Okay.
The other thing I have is the haunted house.
Yes, go ahead.
Brian and I received telephone call about the haunted house from one of the park commissioners. They've been cleaning up around the area, and the people that have, over the years, many different people have been in charge of the haunted house, but for the last few years, it hasn't taken place, and it appears that there's no one to come forward and do this major fundraiser for them. So they're concerned about the condition of the building, whether it had any historical significance at all, but they wanted to meet like in 24 hours. So we couldn't post a meeting and include everyone. So Brian and I just showed up, and we lacked a quorum. There's only two of us to do the walkthrough. And basically what we saw was a very interesting building that was probably from the 50s, maybe the 40s or the 50s. It might have been part of the Boy Scout camp, or it just might have been part of the Ted Williams camp. It might have been built later. It did have a plywood underlayment on the roof that you could see up through the rafters, so that we know that it's probably later rather than an earlier building or structure. It has 3 wings, an entrance. It's an X basically, and it was used as dormitories. At the center was like a bath area, and there's some condition issues because the roof is not in good shape, and you know what happens when that with a building, wooden structure, and there's issues with the floor in places, and question about whether or not critters have been living in there. People have been removed from there by the police because they have been, exploring, I guess you'd say. But anyways, basically what we determined was that the building, although of interest to the town and to the Ted Williams camp, lacked a lot of historical original features. And as a result, we felt that it wasn't anything on any one of our pending lists or on our inventory that would warrant a demolition bylaw hearing as a result. So that we basically said we would send a letter after we talked about it here about the fact that it was probably not anything that we would put on our list of buildings to save. It's too bad that it hadn't been used before. We know that it was sort of back from the woods, and that's better than my granddaughter coming through. But anyways, we just decided we were going to bring it to you and let you know about what we saw. They've taken,
Okay.
I don't know how many truckloads of debris out of there too.
Okay, and we found there are pictures on the walls and some paperwork and some signs that we would like to have saved, particularly the sign over the front door that says haunted house. And there might be a few other things in there that the Historical Commission would like to save.
And this was with the idea that when 2028, when we have the next anniversary, and because Ted Williams Camp did play a role in the history of the town, but also in the last anniversary, that's where the parade ended up, that's where the bonfire was held and everything that went on there. We had the art exhibit that Jerry and I, because the building didn't have security at that time, we slept in sleeping bags on the floor because we didn't know what would happen with all the material that we borrow, the paintings and the Orrell family, Mr. Orrell's woodworking pieces and stuff like that we had there. There's stuff that we couldn't replace. So Jerry and I were the guards overnight, and then the next day it went home with people. So we didn't have to stay there 2 nights with a hard cement floor. Even though we had foam, we didn't have enough foam. But anyways, so maybe if we can't, because of the dampness, anything that's paper has a mildew issue. If we can't, if we can't use the originals, we can copy it so that we'll actually have a record. And perhaps one of the things that Paul will do for this anniversary is do a history of the Ted Williams Camp, the Boy Scout. Okay, Garish's nursery that was there, the Washburn Farm type of relationship. So we might be able to do something. Paul might be able to put together a booklet on it. So some of these things would generate interest, and also any of the photographs that were left, maybe we could find out who they were. Who was this person and what was the character that they were using and being portrayed as during a haunted house experience. So that's about it about the haunted house.
Yeah, that covers it pretty well, yeah. Any other questions or comments? Okay, moving on. What do we have next?
Okay, basically we have, there was going to be some, was it open space that needed the historical element done, and you and Joan were going to work on?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm in the process of rewriting that now. Then I'll let you see what it says in case there's anything you want to add to it.
Well, I think maybe I was kind of wrong. I think both the open space report, or whatever it's called, and the master plan report they both need to be updated.
The historical part, right?
Yeah, the
our
historical part, yeah. So I think there's two parts, so they should sort of line up with one another somehow. At least, overlap in some ways.
I think they did the last time as well.
Yeah, I think so. So, I mean, both of them are in the process of the master plan and the open space plan are being updated.
We just got the documents over email to be able to work on them on our computers, which you don't have, Brian. So once we get it done, I'll get you a copy. And you can see
Yeah,
what
that
we
would be
have.
nice. Yes. That would be very good.
We just got the Google
Thank you.
document from Adam Young.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that'd be
Joan, I
nice.
have a question for Joan. Did you receive the salute to those who serve?
I did. That's a wonderful, wonderful story.
Okay.
Yes. And yes, I did. It came
Okay.
today. It was wonderful. Thank you so much for sending that.
Are you and Kathleen working on the updates to that booklet?
I think we're working individually. I'm writing a bunch of different stories for things that weren't in the last one.
Okay.
And then we're going to get together and put it back together in order.
Okay. If you need any help, let me know.
You bet.
And also in connection with salute to those who serve, the honor roll, we're trying to get a price for repairs to that.
Okay.
That was something that came out of the walkthrough at the townhouse on the grounds. The other thing was that it's in the minutes, but we did not vote on it, is Jose Vinci came and he asked us, he wanted permission to install 4 cameras for LakeCAM in the 4 corners of the room, the main room of the historic townhouse, for future filming.
Are people going to be meeting in there?
It would be the LakeCAM cameras.
I know, but what meetings would they be recording?
If there was a program there, for instance,
Oh,
if
for a
when we do
program.
Memorial Day or something and it's indoors, it would be easier for them to do filming with 4 cameras than it would be with just one person from one area.
Good, okay.
Okay. So somebody want to make a motion that we approve that?
So move.
I make a motion that we allow LakeCAM to install 4 cameras in those townhouse.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
Okay, any other comments? All in favor? You want to do a roll call?
Brian Reynolds,
Aye.
Joan Morton,
Aye.
Jerry Taylor,
Aye.
Delia Murphy,
Aye.
Nancy LaFave, aye. Okay. I'll send him a letter. I'm not sure exactly what wiring has to be done or anything for that, or if they're auto. Kevin could maybe answer that question. No?
Well, it'll have to be worked out.
Sorry,
Okay.
what was the question?
The question is, if you install 4 cameras in the corners of the historic townhouse, are they battery or is there wiring involved or?
If it's anything like the cameras we've been installing in, say, the police station, there will be some wiring involved.
Some wiring, okay.
Okay, any other business?
We have no gifts and there have been no demolitions lately that we've had to sign off on. However, just to follow up on a demolition, the Clark barn that at the former Wilkie property, which is the farm stand on Main Street, has been removed. So that was
That was
demolished.
so sad.
I know it's one more barn not on Main Street anymore. There will be another structure that will be barn-like in appearance, but it will be a new structure there.
Well, we knew that was going to happen.
And the reason for the demolition is because they would like to put refrigerators in the barn, and the supports under this barn would not take the weight. So they are building a whole new barn.
And we went through the whole building and took photographs. So we have photographic and measurement information in case anybody ever wants to know what the building was like before. So we do have a record.
And we did do a walkthrough of the building.
Yes, and around it.
Okay, any other business?
The report, the treasurer's report of the balance of the monies, could we somehow transfer that, establish an account for our 175th anniversary, and any monies that are donated or balances from certain activities could be put into that new fund?
We have over 1,000. At the end of the 150th anniversary, we set aside money for different town departments. And one of the groups that we set money aside for was the next anniversary, which is the 2028. So we already have over $1,000 in an account for us. And I don't think that we can, I don't believe that we can move our own money that way into that account. I'm not sure.
I don't think we can
It's
either.
either we use it or it goes back to the town. So
We use it for programs and
hopefully we'll be having something like Archaeology Month again in October. You know, if everybody gets inoculated and the deviant strains don't go berserk.
I've had my 2 shots.
lucky you.
It was a good thought and generous too, Delia.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe something towards the 175th that we know we'll be needing.
Yeah, that's a group that needs to meet, but I think it needs to be an in-face meeting. And so at this point, we do have 7 years before things happen. But hopefully maybe by the summertime, things will have changed a little bit and we could just have like a gathering of people that are interested, and we could talk about, maybe show, I have all the material, plus we do have the time capsule, which has all the material that we saved from the anniversary, a copy of everything. So
Wow.
So we could, and we know where that is. Oh, there was something that someone told, when we were doing the walkthrough of the historic library, someone said that they thought there was a time capsule buried on the library property, and it was near the Red, White, and Blue Rock, which is from this fundraising group and that made bandages and all that for the soldiers during World War I. And that it might be there. Now, we have never done a metal detecting around that site. We did it at the historic Townhouse looking for the 1953 time capsule, which we couldn't find. So it might be something we might want to do. That as one of our kickoff items, is to see if we could find the time capsule, if there's a time capsule there. There was a time capsule at the library, which was then opened, and it was stored at the historic library, the Carnegie building, and then it went to the Historical Society, and it's still there at the Historical Society, but that was just a library time capsule. So that's
I
something.
know. Yeah, it was.
Somebody will remember something. Bob Darling always told us when he was the building inspector, he remembers in 1953 that there was a time capsule, but he thought it was a wooden box that he made for a time capsule. But it did. Nobody ever, in 1978, when we had the next anniversary, the 125th anniversary, there was nothing about that. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, we never found that one, no.
Find that one either.
We got to get our shovels ready.
That's why I know where the other one is. It's in the Mary Fuller room at in the library, in the historic library. The history room of the Lakeville Public Library, the current public library. I know right where it is. So we have that one. It's not buried in the ground anyplace.
Okay. Anything else?
Going down the unfinished business, what's one of the objectives was a trip. What was that about?
Oh, that was when people went to Easton.
Yes, to the Paul Revere Foundry
Okay.
before you became a member, I think.
And then the Native American statue?
That's like an ongoing thing that we haven't done too much with because of not being able to meet and bring people into the meeting. But it's something we might want to have considered for the 2028th anniversary.
And the South Coast Rail Project?
That's an ongoing project that's going down through this Great Cedar Swamp.
Yes, yep.
Yeah. We haven't had an update recently unless there's something in the mailbox from them.
Okay.
Our next meeting is March 17th, which happens to be St. Patrick's
St.
Day.
Patrick's Day.
At 7:30
7:30
and on Zoom.
on Zoom, as far as we know.
Okay.
As far as we know, yeah.
They opened up the COVID shots to 65 and over.
Starting tomorrow, right?
Vaccinations, yep.
So you
Well,
need to go
I got
online.
mine today.
Good for
Yay.
you.
So you have to go online to register, Delia?
Yes, yep. I think you dial that 211 or go to Mass.gov
Or Vax Finder.
or Vax Finder.
Yeah.
Okay. If no one
Okay,
has
any other business? Go ahead.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Okay. We got a second. Any
I'll second.
discussion?
Roll
Okay.
call vote.
Any discussion?
No,
Okay, roll call.
Brian Reynolds,
Aye.
Joan Morton,
Aye.
Jerry Taylor,
Aye.
Delia Murphy,
aye.
Nancy LaFave, aye.
Okay,
Your
motion
motion
carries.
carries.